G'day, Jim Harnwell here from Fishing World Magazine. I'm on the Shoalhaven River today with Stephen Gill, better known as Gilly, and Chris Neville. Both these guys are tournament anglers. We want to run you through a couple of different options when it comes to tournament boats. And Gilly's boat here is, I guess, what you'd call a top-of-the-line tournament boat.
Yeah.
And Gilly's just going to run us through the basic features of this style of boat, which I guess is more of an American style.
Yeah, it's taken off from that. I mean, this boat is actually an Australian-made boat. It's a Haynes Hunter Pro Strike.
Yep.
Look at it comes with everything made, ready to go. Like, everyone wants a front sounder these days, so it comes already formed up with a pod. Same goes with the electric motor.
Yep.
They're just ready to bolt on.
These would be considered standard features.
Yeah,
for a
absolutely.
boat.
You need these sort of things now. Like, people used to say, oh, what do you want an electric motor for? And you wouldn't even go without it.
Yeah.
You really wouldn't bother fishing without one.
Get another part of a really good tournament boat is like heaps of casting space.
Yep, heaps of room. I mean, as you can see, that you could fish 2-3 blokes up here. I mean, generally you'd only have two.
Yep.
If you're fishing along a bank, you'd have two guys fishing off here. You've got plenty of room. You've still got the rod buckle here, which straps your rods down.
Yep. And these hatches under here, are they for more rod storage in there?
That side, or you could have two sides of rod lockers. Some boats do. Some boats just have a centre one. In this boat in particular, that's got rod locker in there, which I've got storage in there. Gas struts hold the things up.
Yep.
You can fit 10 rods in there. You'd probably comfortably get away with 7. Now, they're all lockable. All the front hatches are lockable. Mm-hmm. There's room for an anchor in under there. If you're a bit lazy, we've got a pedestal hole there. People who don't like to stand all day.
Yeah.
And I've got battery storage, everything under here.
Now, this is an 80-pound Minn Kota, so you've got to have twin batteries.
Yeah, that's right. You need two
24-volt batteries.
Yeah, around 120 amp hour batteries to run that. So all these boats are incorporated. That's got specially made brackets in under there already as you buy it, ready to put the batteries on. So it makes it really simple.
Sure. And I can see here you've got some little deck lights. I guess for night fishing and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and even early morning when you're loading the boat before a tournament, it's quite often dark.
Sure.
And you can't see what you're doing. A lot of boats even now come with the options of LEDs in the hatches so that you can actually, you open your hatch and everything's lit. You don't break a rod tip off trying to feed it into the locker.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, there's lots of gizmos.
A nicely set up console here with your main sounder GPS unit.
Yep, that's right. I mean, there is room for about up to a 7-inch sounder on the dash of these boats.
Yep.
A lot of guys who want to go to a 10 or a 9 or 8-inch sounder, if they won't fit on there, they quite often mount them on the side there. They cop a lot more weather there though, so I just thought I'd stick to the 7 and keep it on the console.
Yep.
But yeah, and I mean, there's, as you can see,
nice comfortable seats. So I guess you're travelling fair distances sometimes, aren't you?
Yeah, like we just went through the chop then. It's good to have a bit of padding under your bum.
It is nice.
Yeah.
And you've got more storage up here plus live wells.
Yep, you've got a 110, 120 litre live well in there.
Now, just explain, mate, when you're comp fishing, you have to, by some of the comp rules, you actually have to have live wells that specify a particular pump qualities and
yeah,
so
that's
on.
right. And like, this is a flow right setup.
Yep.
This comes actually with a divider. It's got an aerator on there. My fish, every time I get them out of there after, even if the fish went in at the start of the tournament, like the first cast, 7 hours later you get them out of here, you can barely grab them, they're that lively.
Yeah.
And it's really well aerated, the water. It's got a divider there too, which is probably another necessity because a lot of tournaments these days in the ABT circuit are boat or non-boater. Mm-hmm. So you've got to have, if you were my non-boater, you'd have to have 5 fish.
Yeah.
So you might have 5 big ones, I might have 5 little ones or vice versa.
Sure.
And you just want to keep them separated, so that locks in there. So you'd have a side each.
Yep.
Which, I mean, otherwise you've got to have tags hanging on the fish and it becomes a hassle.
Sure.
Whereas it's just simple like that. And I mean, that's just one of the benefits of these sort of boats.
Yeah. I guess the other thing that most people would notice with these style of boats is that they have quite big engines on them. I guess part of the whole comp scene now is basically these are high performance boats and you need to get to areas reasonably quickly.
Yeah, and comfortably, yeah.
So what's the top sort of speed you get with this boat?
The top speed out of this, I've had about 93 kilometres an hour out of it.
Still pretty quick.
It is, it's quick enough. I mean, there's other boats out there with 250, 300 horsepower on there that are doing 140 kilometres an hour, which is, that's a new level again, isn't it?
It sure is. Now, Gilly's boat here is a prime example of a top-of-the-line specialist tournament fishing boat. It's great for what it does, but it is quite specialist, and it has to be said that a boat like this is not a cheap option. If you didn't want to spend that much money, or you wanted a boat that offered, tournament fishing, but also other types of fishing opportunities, then a boat like Chris's here, which is a 4.5 metre tinny, offers the best of both worlds. This is set up in fundamentally the same way as Gilly's boat, but it also offers the opportunity to maybe go off, say, snapper fishing in inshore waters, that sort of stuff. Also comes in at a much lower price point. And if you haven't got a decent sized car, it's much lighter to tow and so forth. But like I said, this boat is set up in fundamentally the same way as Gilly's. It's got an electric bow mount, Minn Kota iPilot up the front. It's got a bit of storage, not as much as a boat like this, but a fair bit of storage. It's got a Livewell, so that complies to tournament sort of standards. You've got rod storage here on the side. You've got your sounder here on a mount to the side, and there's plenty of casting room up the front. All in all, a really nice package that will enable Chris to effectively fish comps, but obviously not outlay, the sort of money that Gilly has for his specialist boat. This boat's a tiller steer model. A lot of anglers really like tiller steer because it gives them a lot of control, especially when trolling and things like that. This particular model doesn't have an internal fuel tank. It's got its own little fuel tank here, a tote tank. All that does is bring down the price so you can get a good seaworthy little boat at a reasonable sort of a price. Chris, what are the main things you really like about this boat, mate?
Mainly just the tiller steer is the main factor.
Yep.
Dislike is probably the fuel, having to carry extra fuel.
Sure.
And being able to not have all this tackle away is one of the bigger things.
Yeah.
Livewell's definitely handy. Electric motor's a must, and same with the sounder.
You've obviously fished quite a few tournaments now in your new boat. The front casting deck gives you plenty of room for lure fishing.
Definitely. Would not think of fishing without one.
Yep.
Yeah, makes it so much easier.
Sure. And you don't see any little jealousies when you see the big guys go past in their skeeters and their pro strikes?
It is a bit jealous when some of the big boys overtake you doing double the speed, but that's how it goes.
You got to think too, mate, that they're using double the fuel as well.
They are. But the other benefit of a tinny is you can also go fish rocky areas, reefy areas where these big glass boats just can't get.
Yeah. So guys, depending on where you want to go with your fishing, if you want to get right into your serious tournament fishing and you want to specialise in that, like Gilly has, a boat like this could be worth looking at. If you were maybe just wanted to fish tournaments more on a social basis and then do, other styles of fishing and like Chris just said, maybe get into a bit of rack fishing and stuff like that where you didn't want a big glass boat, then something like this would be really handy. So there's a couple of options there, but both these boats, although quite different, do the same job effectively and well. Which way you go depends up to you.